with your host, Mslonda. Sip and Talk Podcast. Sip and Talk Podcast. Sip and Talk Podcast. Starting soon.
You're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. So
There we go.
Welcome. We have a great show for you this evening, and I have two great guests joining me. We have Marzie and Melissa. Let's welcome them to the platform. And we also have my co-host Boom joining us this evening. And tonight we are going to be talking about unrealistic friendship expectations in friendships. All right, but before that, wanted to start off by getting to know a little about Melissa and Mars. So can you guys tell me a little about yourself, where you're from, what is it that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everyone. My name is Melissa. I use she, her pronouns, and I currently reside in North Carolina. I have an awesome career where I'm able to mentor people and empower them. And Mars and I are using a pretty awesome platform with our podcast called Uncharted Conversations to talk about some of these things that we're talking about today. Having those real conversations where we break things down and we're just honest and raw. So we're really excited to be a part of this, and we appreciate you having us.
Yes,
You're
we do. So with that, I'm Mars, and I actually currently reside in New York. And I do a lot of different advocacy work and things like that. So, and in my advocacy work, we do try to have a lot of those conversations that a lot of people just like aren't having. And so that's where me and my partner, Melissa, we kind of go back and forth on things. And we just decided that we wanted to kind of we decided to kind of share that outwardly and see, how we could kind of advocate while also educating and just talking about the things that need to be talked about more. But overall, I'm a pretty big advocate, and I work in healthcare and learning and development. So,
All right. Good. All right, got some good things going on. All right, so as I said tonight, we were going to be talking about unrealistic expectations in friendships. Where do we start? So I want to start with the what I call the junior high school syndrome. It's where you have friends and they think you're only their friends, and if they don't mess with this person, you can't mess with that person. It is just like a little immature to me. So do you guys have any of those type of issues? Deal with any of those type of issues?
I mean, I definitely remember growing up and having those little, well, if you're friends with this person, that I can't be friends with you, or, oh, you're talking to that person's not cool. I would have to say that now with the people that I surround myself with, I don't have that issue, only because I think I've established a lot of healthy boundaries. The older I get, the less shit I put up with, and the less toxicity I have in my life. And that means, unfortunately, sometimes cutting people out of your life that you have maybe loved for a long time, or, held close for a long time. But I'm of the mindset that, like, if it doesn't serve you, let it go.
Good,
yeah.
good. How about you, Boom? Or I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I don't want to throw it off. I would kind of really agree, and really honestly just echo what Melissa would say. I don't have any friends now, I would say, that are like that, because it's just like you said, it kind of feels a little immature. It's just like, really? Well, that's your own personal preference that you would rather not associate with me. If I'm associating with that person, doesn't mean I have to follow that in order to associate with you. So it just kind of tells you something about the person if we're in our day and age, if you will, and, that's still kind of something that's being asked of, or like a silent, expectation. But I haven't experienced it in quite a while, but it mostly because it got old. Like it was just like, why does what I put right on what you do?
We grew up.
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
you, Boom?
Yeah, for real. I guess I ain't grow up then, cause you messing with my op. I ain't rocking with you. I ain't gonna lie to you, like I said, I ain't rocking. You rocking with the op? I mean, like, of course they talk bad about me, and if you really my friend, like, I'm not gonna talk bad about you. You know what I'm saying? So if you my friend, and you dealing with somebody who talk bad about me, and there gotta be something wrong with them anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if you my homie, and me and that person got a problem, maybe we all was a trio, and I'm like, oh, I don't like him no more. You ain't supposed to like him. I can see the childishness in that, but as far as just me and that person not being cool, and you still rocking with him, y'all probably talk about me behind my back. But like how she said in the beginning, I think you're, are you Mars or?
Yeah, Mars.
Okay, so then it's Mars and
Melissa.
Mars and Melissa. So like Melissa said earlier, I guess growing up will have to be a part of. Well, I just want to put myself in that position. So if you guys are going to rock out, I'll move myself out of the position. Then more or less make it a bigger thing. I just be like, all right, y'all can have each other. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can rock with each other. I just go do my own thing. I do that way. I won't just be like, oh, why you doing that? Why you talking to this person? I won't be childish. For sure, I have a problem with you if you dealing with somebody that I don't really deal with. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just couldn't do it personally. Not saying
Yeah, I
that
think
y'all
there's a
wrong.
level of respect. There's a level of respect there. Like, why would you want to spend time with and be around someone that doesn't respect me, but yet you're my friend? I hear
Right.
what you're saying there, for sure.
I agree. I
I
agree.
hear you, but I wanted to ask. I know what an app is, but what is the level of like? Because sometimes it can be like something so stupid and petty that it's like that's not a reason to really just cut somebody off.
You're right. You're right. So when is enough enough? That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say on my end again, personally, I would just say, it just like you said, it depends. Like, man, you stole from me, that person stole from me, I'm not rocking with them no more. And if you want to be
Yeah.
around them, you can't pull up with you can't come to my house with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They already been stole, they known as a thief, you know what I'm saying? They disrespectful, they didn't cut somebody out of my family or something like that. And I'm not rocking with them even if that's not your family. They just cussed out my mom or they just cussed out my homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? For nothing. Like, I'm not rocking with them. If you still want to pull up with them and you want to be around a different person, then that's on you. You can be with them. You're not dealing with them.
I would say, I would say that as well. And it kind of, then myself, I would kind of, pull back a bit on that trust, right? Like, because like you said, you don't know how that, that is, going. So you're just kind of like, well, I know that me and them aren't good and you hang out with them. So now I feel like I need to watch what I do or say around you. And so it kind of naturally makes you kind of pull back.
Yeah. And that's not really a friendship. If you can't be raw and real and vulnerable and feel like it's a safe space, to me, it doesn't really feel like a friendship. It feels like an acquaintance, but definitely not a friendship.
Because now what are you going back telling them? You know what I'm saying? What are you going back saying to
That's
this person? Or is y'all plotting on me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this person, y'all both about to start stealing from me. So, I don't know.
It's
But
true.
you never know a friend until they show their colors anyway. What they say? When the grass is cut, the snakes are shown. So,
You're not wrong.
So what about the entitlement? Friends that feel entitlement.
Oh, yeah. Friends that feel like they're entitled to that time, entitled to that space, regardless. I've dealt with that recently. I've had a friend in the past where they weren't working and I was, and it was, hitting me up all the time while I'm working. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why aren't you answering me? And it's like, I'm working. Like I have a job and I have bills to pay and I have responsibilities. And right now I'm working. I can't just answer the phone whenever it is that you message me or call me, unless it's an emergency, like I'm doing something. But sometimes I think when people are so close to someone, they feel like that entitlement of, well, but if I call you, you should answer, or if I need something, you should be there. But what about me and my needs? My needs are just as important as yours.
That's a person who doesn't respect boundaries though, because I was actually friends with someone that had that like terribly bad, and I would literally talk to her the night before. Everybody knew my work hours, and we would make plans to do something like go to Walmart after I get off work, and she would constantly ring my phone and text me, and she knew I was at work. And it's like you're constantly calling as if I could just say F my job and answer your call, but we've already talked. And then when I get off work and call her, like she made me so mad one day. I got off work and finally called her because she had called me so many times. I just want to know if we're still going to Walmart. I got pissed and I didn't even go because to me that was like are you serious?
You got irritated.
I got irritated like I don't know what. Like that was just
that's not respecting your time.
No.
Right. I wouldn't say like I won't say like I don't think that I've had a sense of entitlement to that certain extent to where I'm gonna blow your phone up. If I know you get off work at a certain time, I'm just trying to give you at least an hour or two before, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's up? I thought we was going, like, you know what I'm saying? So you get off at 5, I might be hitting your line about 7 o'clock. Like, what's up? What happened? Like, you know what I'm saying? We still on? Like, I won't be hitting you up. Excuse me. I won't be hitting you up for your job while you at work, or you know what I'm saying, or even if I call you and you don't answer, like, you know what I'm saying, I won't continuously call you. But I have been in that position where it's like, shoot, you my homie, you're supposed to pick me up first, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm the last to get picked up, or you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm the last to know or something. So I have been in that system. Entitlement. Like, if you're really my homie, I should have been the first to know. I have been there, but now that's where I grew out of. Like, you know what? It don't matter. You ain't getting me up first, and I ain't your friend anyway. So. But I had to grow out of that because I felt like I would do the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I say we're going to meet up or something, as soon as I get off, it might not be the first 15, 30 minutes, but it damn sure ain't going to be in no hour of me calling you like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to call you within the first hour of me getting off. Like, all right, we still on. I'm making sure, okay, I'm going to come grab you or we come pick me up at this time or whatever. But I ain't going to leave you hanging. I damn sure call you while you at work or just expect you to answer the phone every time I call. But I damn sure do the side. I damn sure expect you to put me on the team, though. I should be the first pick, like, because you're going to be the first pick. That's what I'm going to do. If I'm the other side, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to do.
No, I completely agree. I feel like, you know, there's a level of respect there. You know, you want respect and you want me to respect your time and your space and your energy, and I need that same respect in return. So when I'm working, I'm devoting all of my energy to my career, to taking care of my family, to moving up, to growing. And when you're constantly blowing me up, you're taking me out of the headspace so that I can't be in the game the way that I need to. That's not respecting my time. That's not respecting me as an individual and as a person. And I don't have time for that. So
I mean, and even if it's an emergency, I can respect the emergency. You might hit me like back to back 2-3 times. I'm tired and blew out on the middle expressway. You know, you need to get somewhere and it's really important. You didn't hit me up a couple of times, and I'm in the middle of something and I still don't answer. I could understand why you. I don't even think you should catch an attitude knowing that I'm in the middle or I could be at work. Like, you still got to think about my life. Like, I got kids, I got a job, like you said, I got a career, I still got a mom and dad, whatever the case may be. So you still got to think about me, even though you're going through what you're going through. But yeah, that's the only way I can understand you blowing me up. Is like if it's an emergency. Don't blow me up because some TV show that's about to come on and you expect me to be watching it. Don't do that. Like, y'all feel you. Don't do that.
Or when you blow me up because you have anxiety because I haven't responded to any of your messages. So because you're not taking care of your mental health the way that you need to, you're freaking out because I'm not answering your phone call, but I'm just freaking busy because I'm working. Like, I
have anxiety myself.
Like, right. Like, come on now. If you're that anxious because I haven't responded to your text in a few hours when you know I'm at work, then we need to really dive deeper into what's the problem there. Like, what's going on there? What's the trauma associated with that?
Or not even if you're at work, because I mean, you could be at home doing something. You could be, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. Like, nobody just sits and stares at their phone like, okay, I'm waiting for my friend to call. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
I mean, that's a fact. That's a big fact, man.
I agree.
All in all, just respect me. Like, you're going to respect each other.
Yeah. I'm big on like time. I'm big on respect for time. So like I have a full-time job and then I do advocacy and I'm very involved. I'm on like 4 different committees and things like that. So like I basically have 2 full-time jobs. So when I'm trying to plan things and stuff, I tend to be that person that's like, all right, text me so that we could set up a day and a time so that we can have a more extended conversation about whatever this is about or whatever. But I try to kind of like channel it into those specific times when I know, okay, I have to like put myself in the headspace for that. But there's been times where advocates, like a lot of times they work in the same field that they're advocating for. I don't. So for me, it's not what I get paid to do. So it's like, all right, you got to wait until I'm available. And so sometimes they'll be calling me and I'm just like, okay, but we didn't set up a time and I know this isn't going to be a 5-minute phone call. So why are you calling me? And like Moom said, like, unless it's an emergency, like my friends know if it's an emergency, call me twice back to back. Then I know, okay, there's something up. And if I can step away, I do try to. But, if not, then, I at least text them and be like, hey, is everything okay? But if you're calling me back to back and it's just to find out, like, what kind of Cheetos I want, like, no, we're good.
Right. Like I said, I mean, that's what. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Boom. Hello, Doris. Hello, Belinda, MC. Hello, Sexy. All right, go ahead, Boom.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, like on the child level, of course, like, I mean, we in elementary school. You should be saving me a seat at the table, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn. You're supposed to say, you my best friend. I'm calling you. You're supposed to save me a best. You're supposed to save me a seat. But even as we get older, like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna even lie. Like, if we get older, you invite me to a place. I come to the place with you, but you sitting there with a whole bunch of people waiting to save me a seat nowhere. Like, I'm gonna have some type of feeling about that too. Okay, like I might be a little bit stressed about that too. Like, you're supposed to be my home. You could at least save me a seat somewhere. Like, this for you. This for, you know what I'm saying? So but I do understand like that. Don't call me because you want to talk about Cheetos. Don't call me because you want to talk about the new stuff to come on. Like, everything I got to do. Like, we could definitely set up a friend day. You know
Yeah.
Exactly. But, expecting me to drop everything for every single individual who happens to need or want something from me is just a very unrealistic ask. It's very
unrealistic. I was
unrealistic.
just going to speak to that. Or just even if you have some things going on and a person feels like, well, you got this going on, but I have these problems. So since you need to put me on, no, you need to work for it like I did. You know what I'm saying? You find that a lot of that, it's like people want something for nothing. They don't want to work for it. But if you work for it and you're a friend, then they feel that, you know what I'm saying, they should be have a part of a piece of the pie. Put it like that.
I agree. And that's where the entitlement piece comes in. That's that entitlement piece.
Yeah. Entitlement is definitely not something. I mean, in any relationship, man, friendship, relationship, and nobody's entitled to nobody. Man, I always say shit. We came up. You hear me? Like, we came up by ourselves. Unless you like got somebody conjoint twin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not entitled to nobody. When I came up by myself, like, you know, Siamese don't even count too, because we still came out separate times. When I came out a minute, you know what I'm saying? We still came out separate times. No, I'm not entitled to you.
That's independence at its finest. No codependency for you.
No, I'm not entitled to that. Nothing that you, like the obligation, no, not at all. But I can, if I can, I will. Like, I wouldn't, if I ask you for $20, first off, it would be petty for me to ask you for $20 just because I know that you just gave it to somebody else. But if I asked you for $20 and I seen that you gave it to somebody else and you weren't able to give it to me, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's messed up. I would just automatically think like she ain't got it. She already didn't gave it to somebody. Or he ain't got it. You already didn't gave it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Compared to, oh, you gave it to that person, like entitlement, like you supposed to be my friend. You should give it like that. That people do that, and that's
I've dealt with situations like that. I actually dealt with the situation where it was a situation where I bought some chicken, right? And I had a friend over and I split it between myself, her, and my daughter. Well, then she told another person that she felt she should have had her own and she knew I had money. See, that's the type of things that I be talking about. Like, that's too much entitlement. How do you, and then you're counting my money. You're in my pockets. You know what I'm saying? So
not to mention, she ain't even add the daughter in there. Like, shoot, you could have
And
Could've got
that
us
was the
both a
other
piece
thing.
at
Was
least.
I split it 3 ways. Like, you're supposed to have your own, but my daughter's not. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Like she should have got her. She could have said something like, "Oh, you could have got your daughter her own piece, so we could have had more of your split. We could have split more of yours or something." You're supposed to at least
What's
include the
frustrating
child.
for me is like I've been at work and I've like gotten food and somebody's like, "Well, where's mine?" What makes you? What
Even if you playing,
Wait, why? What? Where is it? Did you order something? Is it downstairs waiting for you? What does that have to do with my food? I don't understand.
Because trust and believe, I'll be like, "Oh, did you want me to get some?" You would have definitely took it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now, what's my response supposed to be? Here you go, or no, I ain't get you nothing. Like, you want me to come back? Like, no, I ain't get you nothing. Like, how you want me to respond to that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that.
How do you do that? How do you respond without looking like an asshole?
I would be like, whatever restaurant I ordered from, that's where it's at.
In your pockets.
Where's mine at? Chipotle? Yours is at Chipotle, waiting for you.
Here's the number.
Here's the number. And I feel that, Miss Roundtree. But that's on your own, though. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing it because people making the obligation. Like, I'm not sure if people walking up to you like, where the food at? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you do it every Tuesday or making it your obligation to have to do it. But if you're doing that, that's a great thing. I don't think that I don't think that people should feel like you should be obligated to do it every Tuesday just because you do, though.
No, it shouldn't be an expectation. You know, invite it in, welcome it, appreciate it, be grateful for it when it happens, but don't expect it. And then don't get on someone when you don't get it.
Right, and even if you do expect it, like dang, Miss Roundtree, you doing it this Tuesday, and Miss Roundtree say no, then it's like, okay, well then what can I do? Is it an issue? Is it a reason why you can't do it? Can I help you do it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like add on to why you're not doing it. If you're going to ask that question, like if you're expecting her to do it and she can't, then ask her like, hey man, why you what's going on? Is it a problem? Like, you know, or you just don't feel like it. If you don't feel like it, then it is what it is. But maybe you got some funding issues. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can help you with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like homeless. Like, so if you can't do it for the homeless and somebody coming up asking you, well, them homeless people, they might expect it, though. I ain't gonna
Yeah, no, you can't expect the homeless to put in. But I mean, they should be understanding, like, well, maybe she just didn't have it this Tuesday. It could be tight. Or, it could be, there is a lot of reasons. If she's doing it and she can't do it one Tuesday, then obviously there's a reason why she can't do it.
Right.
But even if she just wakes up and she just doesn't want to that day, it's okay. You know what I mean? She doesn't even have to have a reason. Even if she just wakes up and she's like, you know what? I just don't want to today. That's okay. That's a healthy boundary to set.
It's her.
It is.
It's her life.
Exactly. It's her life to make that choice, and she shouldn't be made to feel guilty about that choice.
Yeah. But people make you feel guilty about the weirdest things. Like, it's crazy. Kind of makes you just want to stay in a bubble.
Man,
It's true.
People used to make me feel guilty. Not no more. Not no more. I like if you ain't put no shoes and no socks on my feet, man, you cannot make me feel guilty, man. You can't.
I love that. I love that. I wish I'm still working on that people pleaser piece. So like I was a people pleaser for so long that I'm still growing out of it. And I find myself setting more boundaries where it's easier for me to say no. But every once in a while, I find myself being that yes person. And then whenever you're that yes person, people just take and they want more and more and more. And then all of a sudden you feel like your head's going to pop off.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking
especially when they know. Yeah, especially when she's so nice, man. I know I can just ask her for this and she's gonna do it. But she's so nice, like. And then as soon as you say no, it's a problem. Like, hold on, man. Like you.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden they want to call you out your name and say things about you just because that particular time. And I'm like, well, how many times are you going to push me before I'm going to snap back?
That's the issue that I have. It could be that one time that you don't have it or you say no, but now all the other times just went out the door. You've never done anything for me. You're never there for me. Oh, excuse me. No, don't say I'm not there for you this one time. But don't just throw everything else out the door. That's the part that gets me.
Yeah. That's how Mars feels. Mars feels very strongly about that. Like, give me credit for what I've done. Don't hold this one thing against me, and don't credit all of the other good stuff that I've done.
Yeah, discredit.
Or
Yeah.
discredit. Yeah.
It's definitely, I don't know. I'm big, it's because I personally am big on like telling people when they've done something good or when something, you know what I mean? I'm that forward complimenter, you know, to make people feel positive and things like that. So when situations and things arise that kind of stir any other kind of feeling other than positivity, I kind of try to find a way to step out somehow.
Navigate around it.
Yeah, navigate around it is a better way to put it, because I too have struggled with the yes man, like, because I don't want to make anyone mad, but I've also gotten better at saying, okay, is this something that is going to actually like hinder my mental health? Is this going to like cause me some trauma and discomfort? Is it going to cause them any trauma or discomfort if I do this with them or for them or don't do it? You know, I kind of go through all of those still, but you know, I think that at the end of the day, you're entitled to your own decision for yourself, but the expectation should also be to remember the fact that everyone is entitled to their own decisions, and it could change from day to day. Someone is allowed to change their mind, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Do you think
Just
that
be
comes
Yeah,
from
you're
thankful
lack
definitely
of
allowed to change your mind. You're
communication?
definitely allowed to change your mind.
Yeah. Do you think that comes from lack of communication growing up?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't live in a household where we communicated about anything really, other than like what was happening that day. We didn't talk about any of our emotions or feelings. It was, oh, we're sad. Okay, let's go on a hike. Like, let's go on a bike ride. Like, we just would go out and like do something. There was never like talking about anything. So the lack of communication, it was kind of just ignoring the elephant in the room all the time. So now I try to be more direct. It's hard.
Just wanted to say something to the viewer. So the numbers aren't adding up. It's 111 people watching, and I only have 3 likes. So can we get those likes up, please? Thank you. Just saying.
Get it. Get it.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So what else? What other friendship expectations is there out there? Like, it's so many. Like, people put something on you with, you know, when it, and it's not even just friendship though. It's sometimes it could be family.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. I know that there was a lot of difficulty when it came to my parents thinking that because my sons were their grandchildren, it somehow made it okay for them to guilt trip when not getting what they wanted. So what, you don't love me, what, you don't want to do this for me. And it was, you know, trying to get them to be like, no, I do love you. No, I do want to do this for you. And then doing it anyway. So I feel like, you know, even, you know, in family dynamics, you still have to establish those healthy boundaries, and it starts young. Those healthy boundaries start so young. And if you don't instill those healthy boundaries in your kids, then they're again behind the curve. So like me, I'm the type of person where, like, when my kids were younger and they didn't want to hug a family member or kiss a family member, I didn't force them, because I feel like that's a very healthy boundary. If you don't want someone to touch you, that's okay that you don't want them to touch you. Say hi. That's fine. Acknowledge the person and show respect. Yes, something. But definitely, you know, if that person doesn't want to be touched, or that child doesn't want to be touched, it's important to respect the fact that those boundaries start very young. And when you take that choice away from that child, all you're doing is instilling poor boundaries in them going forward. So they're going to be taken advantage of. They're going to be those yes people and those people pleasers. And then they're going to be put in situations where they're compromised safety, emotional health, whatever it is, because they're taught that they're supposed to make other people happy, even if it compromises their own comfort. And that's what I have a huge problem with. But it has to start from the very beginning, and we have to break those cycles. And that's why we have to have these conversations.
Yes. And then, you know, a lot of times too, people who use that, like you said, manipulation situation, they're narcissists.
Yeah,
You know
a
what I
lot
mean?
of them are.
They try to guilt trip. I can't think of the other word right now, but you guys know what I'm saying. They try to
Gaslight.
gaslight.
They
There you go.
gaslight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. Making you think like you're crazy. Yes.
Yeah. Or
100%.
making you feel like you did something wrong and you know doggone well, like, when did the word no become a bad thing? Oh, okay.
Yes. When did I become a bitch because I said no? Like, how is that a thing? But you know what's really, really messed up is I noticed that when women say no, or female presenting individuals say no, we're seen as being like a bitch. But when male presenting individuals say no, they're seen as being strong or busy. Have you noticed the difference between the two? Like I've seen males and I've seen them say no, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, dog, no problem, no problem." But when a woman turns around and says no, all of a sudden it's like, "But why? Why do we get questioned?"
Well, because
She
y'all sweet.
acting funny. Because what?
Y'all sweet.
What did you say, boo? So we're not so because we're sweet, we're just supposed to always be sweet. But
No,
who's to
she
say
just said
that
she
we're
just
saying no just to be saying no? We could just be saying no because we can't do it, we don't have it, you
no. I'm
know,
just
or
You
answering
don't
her
want
question.
to?
so that makes us sour when we say no.
No. I'm
See?
just answering. I'm just answering her question. Y'all sweet. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Like, listen, I've tried to teach women around me to be cold-hearted. And a lot of times it's hard for women to be cold-hearted.
Ooh, that's so
You know,
funny you say that, boom.
it is a lot of times it's hard for women to be cold-hearted. Like, it's hard because I guess y'all look at the same way I was saying earlier is like I would expect my homie to do what I would do for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that with females, y'all expect everybody to be the same that y'all would be. So I don't even think that y'all looking at it on just a friendship level. I think y'all looking at it as a personal level is y'all want people to act like that towards y'all because y'all gonna act like that towards them. Whereas a man, we already programmed to get everything on our own or be strong about things. So we already gonna be cold hearted. Go get a job, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Go you ain't gonna don't come back to me and you're a grown man, like, you know what I'm saying? So then when it comes to females and it's being our woman, you know, we can get a little soft hearted. But as far as just people that's not in our relationship with us, mother, woman, auntie, like those type of people, you cross them out. Everybody else, you can just be cold hearted towards because we already used to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna be soft hearted to our moms and our sisters and our aunties and stuff like that, just because we feel like we're supposed to be the family man. But as a man outside of family, we could be cold hearted because we like ain't nobody gonna do nothing for us anyways. Whereas a woman, you guys are like, shit, if my tire break down, you know what I'm saying? We might. I'm not saying that women can't fix a tire. Don't shoot me.
I
I'm just
can't.
saying. But I'm just saying, like, it might be that time. So y'all don't want to push out that energy as a female because y'all like, I might need somebody. So I don't want to be that person to be like, no, or have
Yeah.
that, you know what I'm saying, that push that energy out. So that's why I think it's more harder for y'all to have that know about y'all or have that cold heartedness about y'all because y'all do feel like it may be it's time where y'all need somebody. And not saying that y'all do need people, I'm just saying y'all feel like that in certain situations. If I said that correctly.
Yeah. So
Well,
to
I
kind
have
of
to
bounce.
give myself. Oh, go
No,
ahead,
you're good.
Margie. Go ahead.
I was gonna bounce off that real
No,
quick
I
for a
was
second.
that
I think she lagging a little
you
bit.
want to go on
That's
ahead.
yeah.
I'm so
Is
sorry.
that me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I was just gonna say I have to pat myself on the back because within the last year I have gotten pretty good with the word no. But it was because it just started weighing on my mental, you know what I'm saying, to the point where I was just unhappy, uncomfortable, and it's like you got to look out for yourself now. So start saying no. If they mad, oh well, let them be mad, and I'm in peace. So I've been having some peace since I started using that word.
I like that. What I was gonna say about, kind of the being cold piece, right? You kind of gotta try to train people to be more cold, My thing is cold-hearted. Thank you. Thank you. So, but with that, right? Like when that woman does become cold-hearted, then you're like, well, why you got to be like that? Like, I feel like that's like the response that women get because they're expected to be sweet. So when we are cold, it's like, well, damn, you can't open up your heart for nobody. But like the dude's like, well, I could be cold till I want to be cold, and then I'll be warm. Like, but why? You know, it almost feels like a double standard. I hear what you're saying, though. Like characteristically, though, I like the examples that you use.
Because women are seen as being nurturers. Like we're automatically seen as being that nurturing entity. Automatically, even if there are some women that are born that have no nurturing in them whatsoever, they still have that expectation.
It's like in y'all DNA, huh? It's like in y'all bones, huh? Well, y'all got to figure out how to be cold-hearted, because being cold-hearted doesn't necessarily mean being disrespectful or being mean. It's just not having that emotion. You know, our emotion comes from the heart. So it's about not having that emotion when somebody comes and say, I don't have, and you like, oh, you have to get that out of you. It's like, shit, well, it's been times where I ain't have. You have to have that in you. That's when it becomes a part of being cold-hearted. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like just being, well, that's your fault. Like you messed up. Like that's just being, you know, disrespectful. Like that's just being irritated. I mean, that's just being whatever. You know, that's not right. But as far as being cold-hearted,
is it being disrespectful, or is it telling them like something they might need to hear?
It depends on how you're doing it. Again, like if you telling me you don't have no diapers, right? Let's say you don't have no diapers for your child. It's one thing to be like, well, I had to take care of my kids and get diapers. Like that's not cold-hearted. That's disrespectful. That's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? But it's another thing to be like, I understand that you don't got no diapers for your child, but shit, I gotta make sure I got food in my refrigerator. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a different type of cold-heartedness. Like, so you have to think for self sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not about to give you my last dollar. But if I got two, I may give you 50 cents. You see what I'm saying? So that when it comes down to your last dollar, I can't even give you 50 cents. That's where the cold-heartedness come in at. But if I got $2, I can give you 50 cents because I'm going to keep 150 of my money. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, it just depends. I'm not giving you 25 cents of my dollar. I'm not giving you 50 cents of my dollar. I'm not even giving you 10 cents of my dollar. But if I got 2 cents, if I got $22, I can give you 50 cents. You know what I'm saying? I can work with you see what I'm saying? So you got to have that cold-heartedness in you to be like, I understand your situation. Shit, I can be in a situation if I do this. You gotta have that to more or less just be like, oh, it's messed up. I'll figure out another way, and I'll do this. And because if I was like this, nah, because you're going to be like that if you don't become cold-hearted. So you have to get that in you and get that nurture come from, like she said, from just seeing women taking care of kids, seeing the breastfeeding, seeing the babies and all that. Because that's mainly what you guys were. That with traditionally how they had you guys were in the kitchen, making sure everybody was taken care of, making sure everybody was full. So as soon as you see somebody messed up, it's like, no, I got a piece of chicken for you. No, I got a rag for you. And we over here like, I'm tired. I'm tired of everybody being in our house. I'm tired of everybody. Y'all got to get that in y'all too. Like, shit, they're feed my kids, and that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I can get your kid a piece of chicken, then I will do it. But I'm not about to go out my way.
No.
Get that cold-heartedness in you.
It sounds less like cold-hearted and more like healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's setting.
I don't. Well, I was just gonna say I don't think it's disrespectful to tell somebody that they may need to hear though either, because look, if you look at a situation where, okay, this person probably just went and bought something from the liquor store to drink, but now they're asking you for money for Pampers. If I tell you, well, you just spent your money on liquor, why are you standing here asking me for Pampers? That's not disrespectful. It's disrespect for you to think that I'm gonna give you my money for something that you didn't take care of.
Oh, but you can't.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just thinking that. I was like, no, but if they're if they're like stopping and getting McDonald's and buying all this food, but yet they're saying that they, you know, don't have money for their lights or whatever, you know what I'm thinking to myself? But then why though? Like, let's prioritize. Let's think about what's really important here.
That's where the cold-heartedness comes in now, because if I see you buy some McDonald's and then all of a sudden your electric bill is going down, but you're trying to buy a bottle or something like that, but now you're about to ask for some money, My job is not to say to you, didn't you just buy the bottle? Because I feel like that's where the disrespect comes in. The cold-heartedness has to be like, yeah, in my mind, I just think you bought a bottle. No, I don't got it. In a discussion, I'm not going to explain to you why I don't got it. I'm not going to explain to you why I'm not about to give it to you. It's just no, I don't got it. That's the cold-heartedness. Now, if they come at you and respond with like, damn, I thought I was your homie. Like, well, damn, you just bought a bottle. Like, you know, then you respond back. But I want to hit you with the I just say you buy a bottle after you ask me for some money. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just say no, I don't got it. And then if your response is whatever.
We're a
So
little
you got
different.
a little bit of ammo. You got a little bit of ammo.
Yeah,
It sounds
you know
to
what
me
I'm
like
saying?
you're holding back. A little bit
and
of
now
power.
here come the cold. Now here come the cold heart. First, I'm gonna say no, and then if you come at me with this, now here come the nigga. You just bought a bottle. Man, I just seen you buy $30 worth of McDonald's. Why are you buying McDonald's and you know your electric bill off and you got food in your refrigerator? Or why don't you got? You know what I'm saying? Why? This is where the cold heartedness coming. Now I'm about to give you the real. Like, you know, I'm not about to cry with you because your electric about to go off. You got your priorities all fucked up, and I'm finna give it to you raw. They're gonna cold heartedness, like, you know what I'm saying. But you have to hit them with the no first. Ain't no reason. No reason. I don't got it. I already know you. So why you in your position? I'm gonna just hit you with the no, and that's in the discussion. Now, if you come at me with all the yap, like she said, here come the ammo. Bow, 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 bow.
That's more my style too.
That's Mars.
I have to have a reason to like give that to you. You know what I mean?
I'll
So,
pop
like,
off.
Yeah, she just popped straight off.
I'm with you. I'm sorry, I'm with you. You're not gonna stand in my face and try to play me like a fool. Come on, like
No,
literally, no, we're not doing this. No, take that bottle back to the liquor store.
But let's just be real though. Comparing no to saying all that. If you just say no, a person might feel a little bit a type of way just off of no alone. Like I ain't got it.
Some people do, and you know another thing. Some people can't just take no. They feel like you owe them an explanation behind that no. I don't owe you no explanation behind that no. It's just no, period. I don't have to say no because I gotta pay this. No, because I gotta have. No, it's just no, period. We're done talking. Like, no.
That's a healthy boundary. I don't have to explain myself to you. If I say no, then that's it. No, that's my answer. And that's when, you know, when my kids were younger, I would always get the, but why? Because I said so.
Yeah.
Not these new age kids. These new age kids,
they
explanations.
Listen, I don't know what happened, but these children now, compared to my generation, I don't know what happened.
I know what happened.
Old school went out and then you come back.
Woo! Goodness, I'm just trying to keep up.
Man, a lot of these people, men and women, a lot of times they started doing that. I don't want my kids to be raised how I was. They felt like they was raised wrong. And so now they want to give their kids everything they didn't have, or like what they felt they should have had. Like, well, did you get a 4.0 in school yourself? Why you sitting here trying to get this child everything? Like, first off, look at yourself before you start trying to give your kids everything you didn't have. Understand why you didn't have it before you start trying to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of times these kids, they get this entitlement from their parents because their parents don't want them to not have what they didn't have. So like, oh, go in the corner for 5 minutes. You want punishment for 10 minutes? What?
The main, you know what really gets me is when I hear a parent say, my kids just don't eat all these. I don't know. And I'm sitting here like, fuck, they don't have no money to eat. What the hell is served? Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? How do they know the difference? Like, you talking that. They didn't wake up and say that and just bite into the chicken and say, ooh, I don't like that. I just don't like all these chicken. No, you gonna eat it or you gonna go hungry like the hell I had to.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
We're not doing 10 different meals for 10 different people. I don't have time for that. No. Gas is expensive. Groceries are expensive. No, thank you. I'm tired. So yes, I make it, you eat it. I make it, you eat it.
I'm trying to explain to my kids now, like, man, I have to ask them, like, do you mad at me for washing dishes, but you ain't putting out a chicken in that refrigerator. You ain't even bought the soap to wash the dishes. You ain't paid none of these bills. You can't even wipe your own ass without me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, you can't even clean yourself. Even if you got no money, you couldn't even clean yourself. You can't buy the soap. Your clothes will be dirty. Like, all this. And you expect probably to pay your cell phone bill, put some money in your pocket, let you eat what you want to eat, take you where you want to go, and all this is because I'm supposed to. And then you're gonna have a puff me down because I tell you to wash the dishes or mop the floor.
Nope.
What?
Nope. Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. So my son, you're talking about relationships, and I think this definitely ties into it as kids. My son had this moment where he felt like, because he turned 18, he could do what he wanted and live his best life and all the things. And we had to have a moment, where we no, that's not the case. Yes, you are 18, but I still pay for all your things and do all the things. So if you think you're grown, then we're gonna test that theory. So don't ask me to bring you places. Don't ask me to bring you to work, to or from. You figure out how to get to and from. I'm not helping you anymore.
Hold on, was he still staying with you?
Absolutely, but he.
Oh, you a good one. Oh, you a good one. Listen, I don't believe in putting kids out at 18. I don't want my kids to just feel like they need to go as soon as they turn 18, but you have to be doing something. If you got a job, okay, cool. You can pay the internet bill. I'm not gonna make you pay all these bills and pay rent, but you can pay the internet bill. Hopefully you working towards getting a better job. Hopefully you working towards going to school or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in putting them out at 18, but you're not gonna sit around and do nothing and then tell me you're grown. It's not so you're grown. Because you can just go right now.
No, that's one thing that I've been very set on is, okay, so these are the healthy boundaries. We're not just going to sit here. We're going to contribute to the home or we're going to be working. You're going to be doing one of those two things, but you're not going to be sitting around soaking up my electricity, eating all the food, expecting all the things, and then not contributing to the household. So my kids have been washing their own clothes since they were 8. I taught them to be very self-sufficient and to not expect me to wait on them hand and foot because I'm not their maid. I'm their mother, but I'm not their maid. And at the same time, I'm setting that expectation where when they go into a relationship with someone, they're not expecting their partner to then turn around and cater to their every need, because that's not fair to the partner down the road that then has to be like, I have to do what? You need me to pick out your clothes and do this and you don't know how to walk? Are you kidding me? No.
Right. What the grandmas used to say, what the grandmas and grandpas used to say, what they used to say, you always gonna be a child to me. I don't care how old you get.
It's true.
My grandma shit. You clean when you go to my grandma's house. I don't know about nothing like that. I was scrubbing clothes and everything, so I don't know.
Hey, I was never grown to my grandparents. I was never grown. I don't give a damn. I wasn't no cussing. It wasn't none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm 25 years old. Okay. Ain't none of that. Like, ain't no talking back. I'm grown. I don't even live here. I can go. I got my own vehicle. Ain't none of that. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. Ain't none of that.
No, because you knew better, because you were taught respect. There was that respect piece. There was that respect piece that was instilled in us as a generation. What was said is what we did. We didn't question it. We didn't talk about it. It just was, because if we didn't do it, there were consequences. There was follow through, and I feel like now there's talk of consequences, but there's no follow through. There's no follow through in children relationships, in friendships, in romantic relationships. You have people that are in abusive relationships that say, if you do that one more time, I'm going to leave, or if you talk to me that way again, I can't stay, or all of those pieces. And I understand, being in a relationship where it's not safe to leave. But as long as it's safe to leave, if you keep saying, I'm going to leave if you keep doing this, and you don't leave, they're going to continue to think it's okay.
Not to mention the great grandmas is 35 now. So they still trying to hit the clubs, like, you know what I'm saying? So they ain't got time for all that shit. So it's really getting out of hand, man.
I think I was a grandma. I think I was a grandma in my 30s, I think.
Grandma cool. Grandma in the 30s? So that means your child was like half your age.
Huh?
I mean, your child was like half your age then.
I had my first child at 17, and she had her child at the same age as well. So.
Right. So that make a little bit, but not great grandma though. You know what I'm saying?
If I turn around and be a great grandma, somebody needs something to shake with it.
These new age children.
She's like, I didn't get that memo. No one told me about that memo.
No, I didn't sign up for that one.
These new grandmas, they young as hell, boy. These new grandmas got TikToks, they dancing, they twerking, they doing it all.
They're
These
more
new
flexible
grandmas
than
different.
me. I'm like, how? How did you get your butt up there? And how did you get back down? I don't understand.
They don't even wear
I
girdles no
can't
more,
talk
right? I
about
don't
no
even think they
more.
wear girdles no more.
I was raised in like the opposite household. So like I was raised by my aunt and uncle, and my uncle was 42 years older than my aunt. And so he was retired when I came into the picture at like age 3. So they just
No, like he was the one that was more of the disciplinarian, and she was the one that was kind of like whatever you want.
Yeah, it was definitely opposite because he was definitely that forceful hand of like, no, you do what I say, not as I do. And she was like, oh, you didn't do what he said? All right, let's go out for pizza. Like, but
See,
he was so much older. He had very traditional views and things like that. And my aunt didn't always agree with them. And so I had this like weird mix of like old school and like defense. I won't even say new school. But that old school tradition. So like in some things, as far as like respect goes, I gained a lot of like, I feel like substance. But when it comes to how he raised me, the traditional mindset being so far removed from my generation made it very, very challenging growing up. But
They've adopted a lot of those traditional traits. So like the opening the doors, just like carrying the heavy things, just like those small little gestures that I feel like have really gotten lost with these younger generations. They don't open the doors anymore. They don't.
They don't even pump the gas no more, man. They don't even pump the gas for their woman no more. You can't anymore. What?
Yeah, they don't.
Why do sit in the car? He's sitting here pumping the gas. That don't even make sense to me.
I had got so used to that to guys not doing that the guy that I was just dealing with recently, like I go in, I pay for the gas, and I come out and I automatically get ready to grab the gas handle, and he grabs it. I'm not used to, I'm just like, they don't do that type of things anymore,
It's crazy. They don't. And it's almost like now we've gotten in this mindset where it's like then when they do it, it's almost like it takes us aback a minute, like, but why though? Now we kind of almost become defensive, like, and almost on guard because it's so off kilter of what normally happens.
Well, hold on, you trying to control me?
Right. Then you have the other end of the spectrum where it's like, no, I don't want to.
It's that other end of the spectrum. I've had women be like, no, but I'm independent. I don't want you to do everything for me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to do everything for you. I'm just trying to like show you my love and respect for you by doing some of, some things that you shouldn't have to do yourself. Like if I can do it for you, I'm going to do it.
And I enjoy it.
Go shopping, carry the bags. Like it's just, it is the way it is. Yeah. But we have a good balance of respect, and it's a push and pull. And I feel like most relationships should be.
Absolutely. Healthy relationships.
And I don't want to be too personal. When we were coming up, once you were told something by an adult, there was no repeating.
No.
And you know what? That needs to come back. I cannot stand it when I hear somebody telling their child to do something and they don't move. It's like I want to hit them myself, but it's not my place. But it's like it's so irritating. But am I the only one who laughs at kids when they finally get that ass whooping they've been needing? Or get that? Like, I will laugh so hard. You've been doing shit all day. Just been doing shit. You should have been got slapped. You finally got it. I'm laughing.
That's what you get.
Waiting for it. Wondering, is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? How far is it going to get pushed? Yep.
Yeah.
And
So
that,
it's
and
like
that,
you
and
got
that, and that's crazy because it's like that's where we got into today. Like, you know, man, back in those days, it was easy for an auntie to come over and check. Like, we used to have them problems with aunties coming through. We know auntie ain't gonna play that shit. Our mama already ain't playing that shit, and then auntie ain't gonna play that shit. But now it's like auntie don't even want to say nothing because mama gonna be on some bullshit with auntie. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So we ain't even about to respect auntie shit because we ain't gotta respect her mama. Then auntie say something to us. Now we really ain't gotta respect her. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it
yep.
definitely became
It's
that
true.
really became an issue.
It's true. It used to be like it takes a village. I feel like that was the mindset back when we were younger. Like it takes a village, and every adult was a piece of that village. And now it's become so isolated that it's like you don't even know who's next door. You don't even know who's down the street. You don't see the kids outside playing and riding the bikes and all this. Like you don't have that piece that I feel like we're really missing. That community piece, that safety. You don't have it.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
used to be you go ahead.
and I was just gonna say, growing up, like if I saw one of my mom's friends, I knew I had to stop doing whatever I was doing because I knew like they was gonna either snatch me up and take me to my mom. But even if they didn't, I had to wonder, like, damn, did she tell? Did she call her? When is she gonna talk to her? So we don't even got that no more. It's like you can see your mom friend, and you just like whatever, and you just they just keep doing them because they,
Yep.
you know, it's not. And everybody thinks that back then those ass whoopings were so they not. That's just like I just had an elder lady come at me and I held my composure with her. I spoke my mind, but I held my composure. You know what I mean? But if I would have crossed one of these millennium kids, I'd have been like, bitch, and why you worried about it? You know, and all that. But you know,
What we
that's
talking
not
about? That nose ring?
yeah, she called me, she came at me hard, right? And she goes, what is that in your nose? And I didn't understand what she said. Then Boom said, oh, she's talking about your nose ring. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's a scepter and this. And she says, oh, we'll talk about that later. And I said, well, now I'm 50. And she said, you're foolish. And I says, well, that's fine. I'll be foolish, but this is what I like. And then she says, oh, you think you could put me in my place? Well, we don't have to, nobody has to put nobody in their place, but this is what I do. Okay, like, lady, stop, because you're really trying to make me go there right now.
What?
She was she wasn't expecting her ways, ladies.
It's one thing to judge. It's one thing to judge. It's another to think that you can control somebody with your judgment.
Yeah, a lot, and I think that happens with a lot of elders. Though it's like you respect me, but I don't have to respect you. I can say one, and you still gonna respect me.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you know, when my parents said something, you know, when I was a kid, it was they said it once. If they had to say it twice, I was losing some privilege somewhere.
Yeah.
But like they hit me where it hurt without actually physically putting hands on me. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people don't really put the thought into like how do you really, you know, kind of what can you really take away or, you know, to actually make them feel like they're being punished without actually like beating a kid. Because
I took some shit away. I took all the shit away for a long time. All of it. I threatened to donate it. I took chargers, but not the actual devices. So when they died, and they had to stare at them and watch them, but there was nothing they could do to use them. I'm not playing. I will hit them where it hurts because it's like if this isn't gonna work, then what is gonna work? And everything is different for different people.
I had to sit in the corner once, actually kneel in the corner on rice once. I don't remember what it was for, but whatever it was, I didn't do it again.
I mean, nowadays, man, it's like I told you to be quiet. Go in there and get the ice cream and go sit down. Like, what? You just gave him some ice cream?
Or go get tablet. Where's your tablet? Where's the phone? Yeah.
What?
The phone and tablet. Yeah. Yeah.
Or
hey, you know, one year my mom told me because I kept getting in trouble in school and getting suspended. And she clearly told me if I got in trouble one more time, I wasn't getting nothing for Christmas. But I just didn't believe no, you can't do that. You can't get my brothers nothing for Christmas and not get me nothing. I didn't believe it. I got in trouble again. And yeah, I couldn't even accept gifts or nothing. But now that was the punishment, but I just couldn't sit well with that. So my brother got a drum set that year. Well, I punched a hole in it. Then that's when the ass came in.
You went too far. You went too far.
Look out on somebody else.
I was the drum.
She was mad. If I can't have it, nobody can.
One too many toys.
She said, and that's when the ass whooping came in. Got it.
Hey, I don't know, man. Now see, I believe in whoopings. I don't believe in beatings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't just be beating on the kid just because you're having a bad day, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, because kids are going to be kids. But I do believe that kids know a lot of times what they're doing. A lot of times we use that kid word too much, or children word, child word too much. Like, they're just a child. They just fuck all that. They know exactly what they're doing. Like, especially after about 5, 6, they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They may not be able to pay a bill. They know exactly what they're doing, though. We're not going to play them games. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times people use that too much. He's just a child. Okay, so when you learn these characteristics at 6 and you use them at 12, 13, then what you going to say? You're supposed to nip that shit in the bud. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to snap that shit at the root. You know what I'm saying? Cut that shit off. Like, for sure, you know? So...
But you can
go ahead. Sorry.
You can no, you're good. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can replace those types of things with more constructive, like, learning things, though, right? Like, take away whatever it is, their Xbox or whatever, but give them I don't know,
a worksheet or
or
a project,
like
complete,
or like something to build. I don't know. I do the Rubik's cube, so you know what I mean. Like, give them something else
something constructive
to focus on. Even if it's
changing Wi-Fi codes. No YouTube.
I've done it. Oh, I've turned the Wi-Fi off and changed the passcode. I'm not playing.
Now we did a topic on the 16-year-old. He changed the Wi-Fi password. And his mom found out about it. She went in the room and took his game. Well, he jumps on the mom. The sister jumps in to help, and he ends up choking the sister to death. And now he's doing life. 16 years old.
And see, on that subject, like we when we discussed that subject, as far as, you know what I'm saying, with the father maybe not being there, we don't know the full story of how that whole situation goes. But the thing about it is, like, he shouldn't have the Wi-Fi password in the first place. You ask me. You shouldn't even know how to change it in the first place. You shouldn't have had that privilege. Unless you're paying the internet, you shouldn't even have that privilege to be able to change it. So that way, your whole animosity should have been towards me in the first place and everybody else's. So not only should you been jumping on me, the rest of the kids should have been jumping on me as well. Because I do go by, if one do it, all y'all did it. You know what I'm saying? So if I see some spilled juice on the floor, because I got 5 kids. If I see some spilled juice on the floor, I know I'm not the first person to walk past this. So if y'all don't even love y'all little brother and sister that did this to even clean it up before I get on their ass, then obviously y'all don't give a fuck either. So now I don't give a fuck about what none of y'all think. Y'all all fuck this shit up. Y'all all walk past it like y'all ain't see it. So ain't none of y'all getting shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I be. Like,
that was how it went in my household too, but I can honestly admit that probably wasn't a good thing, because like my mom got off work and the house wasn't clean. We all got in trouble, but what I would do is I would watch the soap operas and I would beat my brothers up and make them clean up. And everything was done when she got home, but I beat them up and made them do it.
So you ain't not doing it. It comes from a place of accountability too, right? Like, if we're not holding the person accountable for the mistake that they made, and we're expecting everybody else to clean up people's messes, then that accountability piece isn't there. So when they go into the job force or they get into school and something isn't done, it's almost like they want to blame it on someone else and they don't want to take that on themselves. So where I get where you're saying, like, hey, let's pick up after one another and let's take care. At the same time, that person that did it should also be helping to pick up, should also be helping to clean up. It's accountability for doing it.
And that's really all I'm trying to. That's really all I'll be trying to preach to them. Like, listen, I'm not gonna always be here. You gotta have your little brother, or little sister, or big brother, or big sister's back. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they fuck up, you gotta be able to help them in certain situations. Now, if they just sitting there pouring the juice on the floor, let me know and I'll handle that. I'm not gonna blame you for that. You know what I'm saying? Even if you do get it up, but you gotta understand, regardless if they did it or not, if it's sitting there, that's gonna bring roaches. That's gonna bring bugs. That's gonna affect all of us. So even if you do just clean it up, let me know. Like, hey, I had to clean up this juice that little bro spilled, little sis spilled. Like, you know what I'm saying? I cleaned it up, but they doing this, doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even got to worry about beating them up. I'm gonna get them. Just let me know that you did it. You're gonna get more pizza or more toys or whatever it is for going out your way, extra curriculums. I got you. Thank you for doing that for me. Now let me go handle him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand. They gotta understand that, but also look out for them. Like, listen, man, I ain't trying to. I don't want you to get in trouble. I want you to be better. You know what I'm saying? So stop doing this, little bro, for you get in trouble with dad or for you get in trouble with mom. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I ain't do it. Okay, well, what you gonna do when the roaches calling on you? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? When he's fall up in your bed, like, now what you gonna say? You know what I'm saying? So, and then that not to mention.
That also helps to teach effective communication. So, when you're having those conversations, you're teaching them to effectively communicate with one another and effectively communicate to you what their needs are. So, like, hey, I did this. I want to let you know. So I did what it was that you taught me to do so that we wouldn't get roaches and no one would slip and fall. But I want you to know that it happened so that I don't have to be there to then do it again or have to pick up or clean it up again. So I'm going to let you handle your part, but I'm going to let you know that as a sibling, I handled what I needed to handle. And I think that that's good communication.
And I tell them too, like, look, man, if the roaches come or the bugs come, I gotta hire an exterminator. That's like $500. That's $500 that could have went towards your little video game you wanted. I ain't got it now because I got to do this because you want to walk past it.
Or
you know what I'm saying? You feel me? Something, whatever it is that you might have wanted, I can't do it now because I gotta, you know what I'm saying, pay for this or pay for that because that shit that happened. So I try and teach them like to, you know, be together. That way, when auntie come around, brother's son or brother's daughter, brother ain't got a problem with auntie checking brother's son and brother's daughter. Auntie, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got a problem with checking each other's kids, like because they already grew that relationship among each other to help each other. So now they know they gotta help each other with their kids, and the kids gonna have to help each other. I try and build that up, man. I'm trying because it's tough though. But they still got that. I ain't do it. Who cares if you ain't do it?
It's hard. And when you go other places and those other places aren't helping teach accountability, it's like, okay, well, we're doing accountability at home, but if we're not doing it at school or all of these other places, then it's really not a mindset. It's not in the forefront of their mind because they're not applying that to every other aspect of their life. It's only at home. And that's the problem.
Big facts.
Yeah, big facts. That it would explain why I'm lagging. Gosh, why couldn't it rain on the days that I didn't even have to podcast?
You got to start checking the weather channel, man. You got to start checking the weather out.
Oh, wow. So listen, that's going to really put, stuff way out then. Like, the July calendar is full, and I'm into August now. So if I check the weather like, oh, well, we can't do it on this day. It's raining. Where's that going to put me?
December.
It's raining on the 2nd, so we're gonna have to do this on the 4th, so that way the connection be good.
Oh, she's laughing at me. She's laughing at me.
That's funny. It's funny to see the comments pop up on the screen.
So, do you guys use StreamYard?
We haven't touched StreamYard yet.
No,
we haven't touched it yet. We're still trying. I mean, we've messed with it a little bit, but we're still trying to figure out the ins and the outs of it. Do you like the platform?
Yeah,
easy as well.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do Melon, but I don't know yet about and it seems like it just like the other one that I was using before I switched to StreamYard, which was called Restream. It takes forever to load. Now, since I've got new internet, I haven't tried it, but there's some things in Melon that I like when you do virtual background, it doesn't have the movement. And then there's a thing where you can have your like the pictures is like say like we were talking about a celebrity. I can have your pictures like literally sitting on the screen. Like it's hard to kind of explain, but then also too, but I think you can do it in here. Well, I am doing it in here. You can use your video camera but you have to upgrade to a professional plan because it's 1080. So you have to pay for a professional plan.
Well,
Okay.
it's one though that I can't remember the name of it. I'm gonna have to look up the name because I think I'm about to switch over to it soon here. It costs a little bit more. It's like I think this one here is like $25 a month to do all the extras, and then like another $25 a month to get higher quality and all that. It would be $50 a month for the best. But $25 is cool. But it's one that I've seen that's like $60 a month, and they do promotion. So yeah, like they you know, so it's like $60 a month. But what they do is when you go live, they promote your stuff through their advertisement. So let's just say it was StreamYard itself, and you was paying the $60. But what happened is when StreamYard promotes, they would promote Sip and Talk. They would promote Podcast Lit, like you know what I'm saying, and they would just promote it for the $60. And it wouldn't just be like full on promotion, but when they doing their ads and stuff like that, they will make sure that your podcast was the part of their ads, depending on how much you pay. It's like boom, boom, you getting promotions by paying for extra for their monthly service, and then you know that you're getting more viewers and stuff like that. They also put it on Apple and Spotify for you, like so it's a little bit more, but they
That's
do a
worth the
little
money. That sounds
Huh?
like
Yeah.
it's worth the money.
Yeah, it is. That's why I think I'm gonna move over to it soon here once my money get right. Like it's less than $100.
We're still using like Zoom, like a pro account, and then we go live to YouTube or to Facebook. We for our podcast, Uncharted Conversations, we've been going live, or we pre-record them because they're very kind of like intimate conversations. So we pre-record them and then we put them from Zoom onto YouTube. But when we go live, it's straight from Zoom to Facebook typically. So I have started using
So what do you use to plug it in to make it go to both platforms?
That's manual. That's us sharing it to those individual places. I share it to YouTube first, and then I tag that YouTube link and basically everything, so that that way, whether it's a post that will pull it up once I post a link, or like on Instagram, I can't post the whole video because they're too long, but I can post a nice little post, and then in the description I can put the link to the video and stuff like that. So that's kind of the mode that we're going on. But
and y'all let me know if I'm being too personal. I respect it if I'm being too personal, but what's our relationship? Like sisters?
We're partners.
Y'all partners, okay.
Like
I was just
together in a relationship.
When we spoke on the men pumping gas, I wasn't for sure. I got gloss right then and there for a second.
We're a couple.
Okay, that's sweet. That's dope. And then y'all do it together. So that's
Yeah.
even doper.
We do. We do. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun.
Miss Belinda wants to know where you're from.
So I'm from North Carolina originally. Well, now I'm originally from Vermont, and Mars is.
I grew up in Chicago, Humboldt Park to be exact, and then I moved to upstate New York, all the way upstate, like Albany, upstate, about 12 years ago. So I kind of have that city background, if you will.
Yes, they do.
I will be moving to North Carolina soon, but right now my main residence is in, I won't even call it my main residence. I hold residence in New York, but I'm here probably a bit more.
You probably get this a lot. You remind me of I think it's, Melissa, right? With the red hair.
Mm-hmm.
You remind me of the girl Jones, I think, from Girlfriends.
Joe,
No, Ross, yeah, the Ross,
Crazy Ellis Ross.
Oh,
yeah, you remind me of Tracy Ellis Ross. You definitely remind me of her.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I've never been told that before, but I appreciate that. She's beautiful.
Yeah, you definitely remind me of her for sure.
Thank you.
Well, you guys, it was a good conversation. It is 9:08, so we are going to go on and end it. But before we end it, tell them where they can find your podcast and when to tune in.
Absolutely. So you can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, Uncharted Conversations. If you want to email us, it's uncharted.convo51@gmail.com. And if there's anything that you feel like you really want to discuss, any topic that you feel really needs to be discussed because it's raw and real and we need to get that shit out there, go ahead and email us, because we're all about having those real conversations that are unscripted. And it may piss some people off, but we think that those uncomfortable conversations, that's what causes change, and that's what we're all about. So,
and we tend to post our, like, we premiere our videos. It tends to be every other Saturday around 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I think we're due for one actually next Saturday, not this coming one, but the one after. So, you know, we're always looking for different topic ideas. We also have a nice pending list. So we're excited.
Yeah, we are.
I hope that some new people tune in, because, you know, we liked having this conversation with you guys.
Did. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. I enjoyed having you guys, and hopefully you can come back again, and maybe I'll join yours one day.
Please, we love that.
Don't forget to leave me a review. You guys have a good night. Thank everybody who tuned in and jumped in the comments. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.